Hello and welcome. So I've got to test a few things out here because this is the first time streaming from the PC, so it could be an absolute disaster. I don't know. I said a while back that we'd try out some Rimworld. Hang on, let me just get my shit together here. Right. So, for those of you that don't know what Rimworld is, it's like a story-based. I don't know. A lot of people say it's like Dwarf Fortress, but I've never played that either. So, imagine the old style Age of Empires, but with a hell of a lot more things going on. So, like, it's about colony management, basically. Basically, you've got to make a couple of people, however many you decide, that crash land onto a planet. You've got to make them survive. You've got to make them fight off some raids from other factions on the planet that you've landed on. Look after survivors, and eventually the idea is that you build the ship to try and leave the planet at the end. So yeah, it's got me pretty hooked. I mean, when I first bought it, I watched a couple of other streamers play it. That's how I got into it. And anyway, yeah, I played it for a while. And I must have logged a couple of 100 hours in there at least now. So I thought, I think it'd be quite fun to sort of do a stream series if I can, starting with a new colony. So here we go. For some reason, well, I've had to take away the mouse cursor so you can't see where the mouse is on the screen, because I don't know why, but with this OBS, the stream cursor appears sort of way off the screen from where it actually is. So if I highlighted something, the cursor would be sort of on the other side of the screen. It's quite off-putting. So I think the best option is just to remove the cursor altogether. Anyway, so we're going to start a new colony. I really like Naked Brutality, because you start off with absolutely nothing. What I also do is, if we do the scenario editor, I like to change to a lost tribe, a new tribe, so it brings all the tech tree down. But I've installed a couple of mods. If you want the mod list, then let me know at some point. I could publish it, I don't know, but we'll see what happens if anyone's interested. But anyway, one of the mods is that the tech tree advances as the civilization age, so tribe, Neolithic, whatever it is, it advances the more tech you get. So that just means that you're sort of, you get better and better as you go on researching. I do like to add a tech though. You can find it. Where the hell is it? Yeah, start with research. I don't think this dampens the tribal start at all. I don't think it dampens the Naked Brutality start, but it just gives you a little bit of start. And I like to have what's it called? Is it complex clothing? Just because I like to land in slightly colder biomes. If you know what cold biomes are like, you need the clothing, and you need it pretty quick. So I just think it takes a lot of research to do the clothing. I'd rather do the research first, like complex furniture and electricity first. I'd rather have the clothing out of the way anyway. If you played New Tribe before, you know how long it takes to do any sort of research anyway. So the description of this game is: you're naked, alone, and utterly unprepared. Can you survive? It's extremely difficult and extremely unfair, and I've lost a lot of colonies in this playthrough because it's so difficult. So the description of the story is that you went under anaesthetic for a minor surgery. Now you've awoken in a drop pod crashing into a distant planet. You're naked, alone, and totally unprepared. Can you survive? Warning, this is an important warning. There is nothing fair about this scenario. It's extremely difficult, and death can, I think it's cut that bit off, death can happen for any reason. There we go. So yeah, so like I said, I've started with the research complex clothing. I've added that to the new tribe setting just because it makes things a little bit simpler to start with. I don't think for me it adds any sense of ease to it. If you know what I mean, it doesn't make it any less difficult. So we go next. I like Randy random the best because things happen randomly. You read the thing. Randy is truly random. He will sometimes send extremely difficult, unfair groups of events at you. It makes for high drama and unavoidable sacrifices. And I think we'll play with Rough playthrough. I haven't yet played with Savage. I haven't completed the game yet at all. I mean, I've never launched a ship. I got very, very far when I was on the builder setting, which is very easy. And sort of, as I was starting to build the ship, I thought, this is far too easy. So I quit that playthrough, and then I had a couple more on the Naked Brutality and kept dying. Anyway, we are going to play commitment mode as well. So if we die, that's it. That's the end. We have to restart again. There's no, you can't reload from previous save once you're done. Right, I don't really know any good seeds, so it's a bit of a hit and miss. I might just sort of generate one, see what happens. I mean, I've only picked 30% anyway, so it seems like there's quite a big delay to my video. We'll see. So it takes a bit of a while because of the way the laptop works, and I'm not quite sure how. See, I don't know how the graphics and the frame rate's going to come out your end, so just let me know if you see anything wrong. Right, so another one, a couple of mods that I've got is extra civilizations, extra factions on the planet. So, and I tend to try, the settings I've got is to make them grouped into sort of hubs. I think that's more realistic, like on a planet setting. If you landed on a random planet, I'd imagine that, obviously we don't know, but you'd imagine that separate factions, separate colonies are going to be sort of dotted more closely together. I think it makes it more realistic. And I've set a couple of friendly-ish colonies as well. The neutral level -1, they're hostile. Where are the friendly factions? There's one, +16. Like I said, I like to land near a slightly colder biome, so I tend to try and pick sort of around here a little bit. Where do we get? If we go for the terrain, so we can see a little more information. We're trying to make this playable with Naked Brutality on this sort of difficulty setting. The best thing that we can do is, well, this is what I think anyway, is have at least 30 days of growing period. It just gives you that first, obviously first season or two to stockpile. I tend to like to land near a road, but I'm not going to be too fussy. I mean, screw it. This is for shits and giggles really, isn't it? For a stream. That's 20. We don't really want 20 days. You see, I can't point it out with the mouse cursor because, like I said, I had to get rid of the mouse cursor. But where it says Eternals, you'll see on the left, the growing period is 20 to 60 days. We don't really want that. Hey, so where are we going to go? I don't know. We'll land near the road. I think here looks relatively good. 30 to 60 days. -8. I like to see a little bit of snow in the winter. Hopefully, it adds a little. I think it adds a little bit of texture to the game. Just makes that a little bit extra. We're also going to do some more advanced settings here. I'd like to have a slightly bigger map size. Again, it probably just makes it easier for me, but it just means we've got more tiles to play with. So we've got a bigger selection, and we can sort of build our first base. Right, this next bit is where we pick our playable character now, because I've selected Naked Brutality. We start with one person, and that person's naked. I've got another mod attached here. Now, that other mod is Prepare Carefully. So when I first started playing Naked Brutality, I created a character that I thought was relatively fair for the gameplay that you're playing. I think it's slightly more boosted than what other characters would be, but I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think it's this guy called Foster. Soft Foster is our first playing character. I don't think that Todd Foster, is too OP, basically. I don't think he's too boosted. I mean, I've given him fairly level stats, a couple of things like plants, which we're going to need, especially when we're by ourselves. I've obviously given him ability with animals, because maybe that's going to be useful later. Crafting, definitely, because we're going to have to be making our own weapons right at the start to defend ourselves. And obviously the shooting, we're not going to have a gun for a while, but maybe we might pick it off of some raiders. We need some good shooting for the bows and arrows. And the intellectual is important, because we're on a tribal setting. So I think that having a high intellectual helps us out with our research. But I don't think it's given us too much. And obviously the construction over here, I've given it a 7 again. And I've also given it a single flame, which I think It just means that he learns a little bit quicker. But yeah, so this is Todd Foster. He's got a biological age of 24, so he's quite young, which helps us out. He was a farmer's son, childhood, if you want to learn about his backstory. So he spent much of his childhood learning biome farming in his biome. They kept animals to investigate which would cope best in alien environments. Due to this, the travel restrictions and oxygen rationing systems, he rarely got to meet anyone from outside his family. So it just means his social's not so great, but he's alone and naked by himself, so he doesn't really need that good a social. We've also got his adulthood. He travelled from planet to planet, gathering samples, stories and research. His goal was to bring together enough knowledge to make a survival guide for future generations. I think that sort of ties in quite nicely with the storyline of the setting that we're going for, because he's obviously travelling and he crash lands naked on a planet. So yeah, the traits are giving him jogger, super immune and nimble. I think it's giving him a bit of a boost for me, so he's faster walker. Super immune's good because he's going to be by himself, so he's not, doctor-wise, it's going to be very difficult to treat. And nimble just means he's a little bit better. What was it? I think it's a bit better. There we go. He seems to dance around danger with Foster has remarkable kinesthetic intelligence. Well, I don't really know what it does, but yeah. Anyway, it obviously helps him out. Right, so, oh yeah, just to give you a point, if I use point limits, I've only spent 605 above what you would expect to ask for in the naked brutality setting. But having said that, I've also started with tribal mode, so I think that pushes it back a little bit more. So I'm hoping that it gives us a relatively balanced play, if anyone's going to argue about that sort of thing. So yeah, let's go, let's drop him in. It takes a bit of a while generating that because the laptop's not so great, and I'm also streaming, like I said, for the first time on this laptop, so it takes a little bit more processing power than what it should. I don't know what it's giving you guys frame rate wise, but I don't know, we'll see. It's going to take a while. Just a little annoying. In fact, while it's loading, I'm just going to pour myself a quick drink. I'll be back shortly. Ah, fantastic. Right, so this is the sort of blurb at the start of the game. It was supposed to be minor surgery, just an hour under anaesthetic. You felt totally safe. Now you're awake inside the drop pod, punching through the atmosphere of a distant Rimworld. Aside from a slick of mysterious goo all over your body, you are totally naked, with no preparations, no supplies, and no tools. Can you survive? That's what makes the game so difficult. So, yeah, we have Foster. As an adult, he was an explorer. He's obviously gone into surgery for something. Now he's landed on this planet. First thing we're going to do, pause the game. I'm going to select I think a good little site for Foster to make his first little colony. It's quite difficult to have a look around really and pick a good place. I think down here might be a good option. We've already got the wall built here. We could just build a little door on it. There's some mountains to the back of us that we could probably build a little wall around. I don't see much fertile soil, but we've got another mod here, which gives us super fertile soil when we build it. A lot of people argue that it's a little bit OP. Again, I would probably agree with that, to be honest. But it just means that for this sort of playthrough in the cold environment that we've only got 30 days of growing period. So we need to make those 30 days count. We need to get as much supply as we possibly can of seed. Of edible plant matter that we can cook through the winter period, especially if we're going to get more than just one colonist. So, Foster here, he's wandering, that's what he wants to do. What we're going to do first is, I think the main priority right now is to, like I said, build our growing zone. So we're going to tile out, I'll say a relatively large growing zone here. we're going to plant rice plant because it grows very quickly. You see? It's a 3-day growing period, which really helps us out because we can pretty much do the entire thing in 3 days, and then we get a full farm's worth of supplies in 3 days. We're also, while we're at it, going to set Foster's work priorities. Now we want him to firefight if there's a fire. We want him to patient if he gets ill. We also want him to doctor because he has to tend for himself. We want him to bed rest when he gets tired. And I've got this haul plus mod, which basically means that I can assign things that need to be hauled urgently. It means that we can put our other hauling down a little bit so we can do other more important things. And if there's anything that's really urgently needs hauling, I can just select it. The basic sort of switches, you know, turning on things, we'll put that as a 1 as well because we might want to turn on sort of mortars and stuff later on, you know, sentry guns and things like that. I'm not too worried about wardening or handling at the moment. Entertaining is another mod that I've got. I'll go into that later when we go and use it, but basically you can have other colonists come over and visit, and you can sort of provide them with bedding and food and things like that. Cook, he's going to need to cook. That's the most important thing. To get food, especially cooked food, is better because it gives him a higher mood buff if he eats raw food. Hunting, I can sort of manage that directly, so I keep that quite low. Again, fishing, another mod we've got, don't need to worry about it at the moment. I barely use it actually, so I might delete it at some point. Construction is very important. We want things to be constructed. Growing is the absolute most important thing that we need to do right now. Growing on plant cut. Mining, again, I can manage that directly. Smithing, tailoring, all that sort of things, I can manage that later. Cleaning is quite important, and we'll go to research as one as well. We're going to use that very importantly later on. So he is probably going to go directly to, we want to do something first actually. We want to tile this soil. It costs us nothing, which again I think is pretty OP, and I agree with that. So we're going to tile the soil and then plant on it, which gives us a really good fertility, so it means that our plants will grow in that 3-day period regardless. Right, let's set the setting on power. So while he's going to do that, I'm going to set him to, see, we've already got some problems at the start. So colonists need beds. That is a very good thing. Now, because I've only selected, oh, pardon me, sorry. Because I've only selected, we're starting us for try, we haven't got any complex bedding. We also haven't got anything to make bed rolls with, so there's no way, look, actually this mega sloth here is actually going to cause me a bit of concern at the moment. That's what I'm slightly worried about, so we might want to start thinking about making some protection as well. First things first though, sleeping spot goes in here, and then also going to chop some wood so we can start building stuff. Obviously we don't want to build too much out of wood because it can catch fire, especially later on in the game. It's very important, but for now it's the only resource that we really have that we can do anything special with. We'll chop this one too. Oh, I can't chop it, it's not big enough. Right, so Foster is gonna, I'd like to try and build a little wall. I certainly want to cut off the cut off that mega sloth from getting into us, and I also want to close in the base so that he has protection overnight. Speed this up. What we also want to do, actually, if we slow it back down, is while we're here, we want to select a stockpile zone to keep all our raw resources in. Now I'm going to stick it in the base for now. Obviously later on when the colony is bigger we'll have massive stockpile rooms that are protected and lit and chilled. Eventually when we get electricity we can actually cool stuff, so we don't have to worry too much about the food supplies going off. Our big other concern right now though is that Foster hasn't eaten yet, and there's no real source of food around here other than that rat, which we can't hunt at the moment because we have no materials. So what we're going to do is set a crafting spot outside here. We're then going to set a butcher spot here. Oh no, got it the wrong way around. Butcher spot goes outside. We'll build the crafting spot indoors so we can craft a weapon. That's the most important thing at the moment. So if we tell him to build a short bow for now, just do it once. We're going to craft that bow now. So we've got a food supply. It's going to be, actually another thing is temperature. We're going to want to build a campfire as well because we're going to want to cook that rat when we kill it if he's still around. We don't want to attack this mega sloth here because with a bow and arrow I mean, he'll tear us apart. He'll tear Foster to pieces. Right, perfect. So if I get him to at least sow a little bit of an area for now, so we've got one plant growing, then we're going to get him to equip the short bow, so he's got his weapon now, so he can at least defend himself on this part. Right, structure. We're now going to build our door. We're going to build wall off camp, so we've got a door now, and he'll build a roof pretty much soon after he's built these walls as well. But no, Foster wants to relax socially because he's bored, so we'll let him sit by the fire and keep warm. We do want to get this rabbit though, so I might just, actually, do you know what? I'm going to get Foster to hunt this rabbit now. Hare, sorry. If we can get it. Because his food supply is very, very low. While he's doing that, we're going to set him to cook a simple meal. We're going to limit this until we have X. We're going to need about 5 meals on the go, just to keep us safe right now. So when he gets enough resource, he'll cook continuously, so there's always at least 5 meals in the stash. And I can't believe how long it's taken him to kill this hare. And now he's just shooting at rock. He's probably going to give up in a second. The hare's probably going to bleed out anyway. Look, we've got 7 hours left and the hare's going to die, so I say let's just cancel that for the moment. 6 hours is still not enough because we haven't got any food. See, our food down here is about 14%, so he does need to eat. There's a harvest, there's a berry bush here, so if I get Foster to cut this berry bush, I don't know if this gives enough to cook a meal. It might do. I think he's just going to eat it there. No, maybe not. Yeah, he's going to eat it raw. Now this is going to give him a mood debuff. See here, it goes under his needs. So we started off, he's got extremely low expectations, so that doesn't give us, it gives us a bit of a nerf to our mood, which is good. You get that when you land, that goes down and down as time goes on, and obviously then we need to make his room slightly more comfortable, and we can put some nice furniture and things that will, you know, that will unbuff when this becomes bad. That's the best way to explain it. But at the moment he looks pretty alright. Still got a problem with food supply. Our hare is bleeding out somewhere around here. Oh no, he hasn't been eaten by this, has he? Nope, there's no log there for the cougar. There he is. He's going to bleed out in 4 hours. Shall we just make Foster finish him off? Oh yeah, I cancelled the hunt on him, so we can't do that. We're going to hunt the hare. There you go, now we can finish him off. Right, now what we can do is, I forgot to assign butchering. So what we need to do is butcher creature. I'm going to get him to do it once, for now. We're going to get him to butcher this hare and cook it up as a meal. And it's going to give us some leather, but the hares don't really have enough leather to make any good clothing with, so there you are, he's cooking now. Now he's in a rest. See, so day 1 is now over. What we've done is managed to close off this this room, giving some shelter from the rain. We've planted some rice, which is going to be good because at least these bits will harvest, all of them we'll be able to harvest first. What we're going to do tomorrow, once he's finished doing this, we're then going to zone out another growing zone, not far from here. I think we'll do it here. Now we're going to make this cotton. Now this is going to be important because we're going to want to make clothing pretty soon. It's the summer now, so the temperature's pretty good. But when it gets to the winter, it's going to start snowing. So we're going to make sure that we build some cotton. The other thing is we're also going to want to tile the floor to make it tiled soil. Basically the developer of the mod for tiled soil said that people have been able to fertilise soil for millions of years, so why not be able to do it on the Rimworld when you can do pretty much everything else? I mean, the other mods that I've got in this game you'll see much later if this playthrough goes well. But I've got things like Rim Atomics, where we can build nuclear power stations later on. We've got Rim of Fellow, where we can start drilling for oil, things like that. I mean, we've got all sorts of other little bits and pieces that we can do later on when the civilization gets a little bit more expanded. But for now, we're just going to stick with the fact that we are unhappy nudity because we've got no clothes. I could use the craft spot. Oh no, I couldn't even do that. I've only got 8 light leather. So I could make some tribal wear just to take away the fact that he's unhappy being naked. But I don't think it matters. Oh, we've had an event. So we've had a wanderer join. So we get random events in here as well. So we've had a random character called Squid. What a good name, eh? Looks a bit like a squid too. So look, a villager named Squid has arrived and is joining the colony. He is a medical assistant. He is willing to contribute but will not leave voluntarily. If you don't want Squid, you can banish him, sell him to slavery, or simply kill him. However, your royal colonists may find this disturbing. Right, so let's see what Sid's like. Sid is pretty terrible. I mean, he's a good doctor. And he wants to learn shooting. And he's got some animal bits and pieces, which means he can tame and herd, but I mean it's not very good, it's only a 4. So, he's very young, he's only 18. He was a medical assistant. Squid was born during a catastrophic war in which both sides used napalm extensively. He grew up helping his parents in an infirmary, treating the cascade of horrific burns from the battlefields. He was left with a lifelong fear of fire, which is good, because we don't want people that are the opposite. We don't want pyromaniacs, because they cause us some issues later on in the game. So, he is terrible. He's a transhumanist, which means that he doesn't like his body parts. He'd like prosthetics. Later on in the game you can make bionic limbs and things like that. But yeah, we can keep him happy for now. I've never seen Lecture. Unabashedly lecherous and a thoughtless heartbreaker. He will hit on anyone he desires with no regard for the consequences. That might be bad later on in the game when colonists start to marry off. He's got a fantastic memory, which gives him a good global learning factor, which is good. I mean, his intellect was 1, but we can... Basically, I've got another mod, which means that you can't drop down intellectual levels. You can still drop down within the level, but you can't drop down whole levels. So I could make him my doctor and my researcher, I suppose. Maybe we can do some construction too. I don't really know. Haven't really got a choice. He's joined anyway. Okay. Okay. So work-wise, we're going to set him to be a patient. We're set him to doctor because he's good medical. We're also going to set Foster down slightly to doctoring because we've now got a full-time doctor. We're going to make him do some hauling. How about we get Squid to do our hauling and cleaning? He's also quite... I don't know. He wants to learn crafting, so why not while we're young? He also wants to learn tailoring. Maybe he can make our clothes. We'll stick him on 1 for research too. But yeah, he can't do anything else. Alright, we're going to have to give him a bed. We're going to have to give him a bed, aren't we? I don't want them sleeping next to each other. Might get weird. Right, okay, so he's planting the cotton. Foster over here is planting the cotton before he is doing anything else. Now this Squid can help us with... Do you know what? If we make Squid do plant cutting too, so we can start learning now. That way we might be able to cut these trees down. I don't want him sowing though, because he can't, he'll just spoil everything. Foster here is going to continue. Right, so this mega sloth here is not leaving us alone. It makes me a little bit concerned because he is hungry. He could go for Foster at any time. Yeah, we really need to wall this off, don't we? Okay, so if I build... I'm going to build a wall. It's going to cost me all the bloody wood that I've got, but I really haven't got a choice at the moment. Right, we're going to want to stick some doors in here too, so we don't trap ourselves in. And one on this side. Oh, he's eating raw food, Foster has too. They're both very hungry, I forgot. Okay, we want to do harvesting as well. Maybe Foster is better off doing the harvesting. See if I can double tap that, see how many more there are around here. Alright, there's a few, so we're not lost. One thing I haven't done, oh, his food is very, very low. I haven't told them to self-doctor yet. Now we only want to use herbal medicine for now, because we don't want to waste good meds if we were to get them. Maybe later on if they get something bad, we might have to start upping the type of medication that we have to give them. Well, that squid's doing a good job here. He's learning his plants, I think. Yes, he is. It's very, very slowly, mind you, but he's learning. We've got some berries on stock here. I mean, what we really want is just to hurry up and grow. It's 51% growing on this tiny little slot. Has he messed up every single one of those tree cuts? Fantastic. Right, so we've had a thing, I've just missed that, sorry. We've had a psychic soothe. So what happens is every colonist of the male gender smiles with content. Some distant engine of happiness is stirring. It's projecting a powerful psychic drone over the entire region on a frequency that only seems to affect the male gender. For a few days, some people's mood will be quite a bit better. So obviously, because we're on a crazy planet, there's all sorts of stuff. You'll see later on. There's like mechanoids and sort of alien things that come at you. So that builds into the story. The crazy alien world sends crazy alien things. Right, squid is a hunter that lacks a ranged weapon. I don't know. Yeah, do you know what? We do. We'll make another short bow for squid. I think he was on crafting anyway. He is. He's shit at it, but he can do crafting. So, what's Foster doing apart from lazing? Look, I built the wall so he can stay away from the bloody mega sloth. What are you doing, laying right next to him? All right, squid's hopefully going to start cutting down these trees. Hopefully this time he's not going to botch it. See, here's our issue. We're all very. I know. Squid's all right. He's fed. Foster is very, very hungry. I'm just assuming that the rice plants can grow in time. Why is Foster not doing that? What's he doing? Oh, he's constructing, of course. We've got him higher on constructing than it's higher up the chain than plant growing is. So. Yes, Foster's gone to bed. For some reason, squid over here is still cutting down trees. Hopefully, he's not botching them. No, he hasn't. See, he's actually managed to get some wood, which is good because we're going to want to keep our campfire warm too. So they're both asleep now. So we shall just wait here. Yeah. We could go about setting some tasks for tomorrow. I suppose it's just more cutting down trees and shoring up these walls. I suppose I should probably build some sort of like a good idea. Maybe we'll cancel this and we'll put a. What do we want to do? Shit. I should have built the door here. And then we're going to want to build a spike trap here. So we want a hole so that if any raiders come to our little square of land here, they will try and go through this hole. If I stick a trap here, then they will hit this trap here, hopefully, and taking up quite a lot of health. And meanwhile, we can stand back here, sort of round here. If I build some sandbags behind this tree, once we've cut it down, we can just sort of shoot them off as they run over our trap. Squid's still being lazy, and they've got disturbed sleep because Foster's moving around. That's going to piss him off. Right, Foster's food is horrendously low. This is very bad indeed. Right, Foster's priority now is going to be to cut this berry bush here. He's going to once again eat raw food. There you go. And he's fine again. And in the meantime, hopefully, our rice plants are growing. Right, where's Squid? Squid's cutting down more trees. Foster's building. Right, look. Sorry, something else just happened. We've detected a cluster of cargo pods crashing nearby. Perhaps you'll find something useful in the wreckage. Now, one of my mods that I've got in this game is a fishing mod. And really annoyingly, most of the cargo pods are just full of fish. So if that happens, I think it's a bit too overpowered because you get a hell of a lot of fish per cargo pod, so I tend to ignore them. But no, look at this. We've got herbal medicine, which is going to be very important later on. Remember rightly, Squid's on the haul urgently, so he's going to go do the hauling. Sorry, I've got a cough. Oh, that's better. Yeah, sorry. So yes, Squid's going to haul the herbal meds in. So if one of us gets ill or cut, or the Mega Sloth decides to attack us, we've got a nice little supply of medicine. We can use Squid, our proficient doctor, to sort out. Right, we've got to the point now where Foster is about to finish with this. Oh, some of this can be harvested as well. I can't imagine much of it. Nope, just one square so far. He's going to eat it raw. What's Squid got? Squid's still hungry? He's alright. He's doing alright. He doesn't really need food. Did Squid build the... let's make him craft his bow. Make his own bow. Should hopefully give him a little boost to his crafting as well, which could be useful later on. Right, so now's a good time if I put it on normal speed. Let's have a look around at what we've got around here. Because steel here, it's going to be, sorry, pardon me, it's going to be incredibly important later on. We've got some jade down here. Got some compact machinery, which is going to be very important. Which gives us our components. Oh, we've got some silver ore, which is going to be good for when we have to start trading. There's not a lot of steel, which I'm a bit worried about. Sandstone, marble and slate. Some granite here. We really need some steel. There's some steel here. We could probably make use of this, but I mean it's quite far away. I don't really want to stray that far from the camp. Build complete. Make short bow. So Squid can now equip this bow, which is very poor because he's not a good crafter, but he's doing it all the same. And hopefully in the meantime some of this is ready for harvest, but it's not, annoyingly. Squid's going to be getting quite hungry. No, you know what? Squid's doing alright. This bloody Foster that seems to have a massive appetite. What we got anywhere near that's going to be useful? We've got a little rat somewhere we can just hack to death. Oh look what we've got here. We've got some uranium ore, so when we do our nuclear power station, that's going to be quite useful. I really could do with some steel being a bit closer though. So I need one tile of steel so that I can start making my research bench. I mean the research isn't that important right now because we don't really need to do a lot with it. There's quite a lot of berries here. Oh look, they're having a conversation. Let's slow things down and see what they're talking about. Foster struck up a conversation with Squid. Oh, hang on. We're going to ignore the talking, apart from the fact that Foster argued about engineering with Squid. Oh dear. Well, they are arguing about engineering. They've got no engineering. Foster exchanged pleasantries. Squid exchanged pleasantries with Foster. Anyway, sorry. So that buzzer that just happened now, mad squirrel. We've got a mad squirrel that's coming towards us, so he's going to start attacking us. Now, thankfully, we've both got bows. We could probably... I don't know if he's going to fit through there. If we play it carefully, we can, sorry, I'm drafting them now, so I can control them exactly where they stand, which you can't normally do. If they're undrafted, you can't control them. So I'm going to make them stand behind here. I don't know why I'm using this as a, he's not exactly, the squirrel hasn't got any ranged weapons, so he's not going to be able to do anything to us. But he is going to try and claw at us. So look, here we go. He's coming in up here now. Yes, we know there's low food, but we've got a squirrel now, so hopefully we can deal with that. And they're both a absolutely terrible shot. Squid, run away. Squid, run away. Oh god. Foster's going to have to go in for the melee. There we go. Right, they both killed him. Perfect. So, we don't really care about holding him urgently. Squid got attacked by the squirrel. How bad is he? He's doing alright. He's bleeding, but there's no immediate dangers. Hopefully he's going to tend to himself with some herbal medicine. Foster didn't get anything because he's an absolute OG. Goat, sorry. And Foster doesn't give a shit about the squirrel. That's why. Because we need to... sorry, the butchering creature, what we're going to do is set it to do forever. So whenever there's a creature that needs butchering, it'll get butchered. And hopefully, Foster's going to stop collecting bloody wood. We don't give a shit about wood. Oh, hang on, he needs to tend to squid as well. Before squid gets an infection. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. After eats, of course. It's the most important thing. Now, hang on. Tend to squid. You don't want your new campmate dying out already, do you? There you are, squid's been tended to. So all his health conditions are fine. Hopefully he doesn't catch an infection, but what are you going to do? We're not really too fussed about squid. Poor squid. We're more fussed about Foster, because he's our original. Meanwhile, waiting for this harvest to come through, we're going to harvest the berries. Where the hell have you gone? Okay, there's other berries that need harvesting too. Squid must need food, he does. Squid's going to consume the berries. So look, the thing is, as soon as we start harvesting this bloody rice crop over here, we're going to start getting some proper meals. Once we get a basic 7 meals a day, they're not going to go hungry again, hopefully. We'll see what happens in the winter. Sorry, just taking a drink. And pause the game because we have the problem here. We've got a minor break risk from squid. What's wrong with you? Ugly environment, obviously, because, well, I mean, the floor's looking alright, but yeah, the barracks are awful. And it's a stockpile, so technically you're laying in a stockpile zone. We can't really sort that out. Transhumanist, he wants to remove a limb and replace it with a bionic body part. Disturbed sleep, obviously, because Foster's running around. And he ate without a table. See, this is a problem. It's actually a meme that's going around about Rimworld. If you check it out on the Rimworld subreddit. Basically, for some reason, the game puts a massive focus on players eating at tables. And they get big old mood buffs for not eating at a table, which is quite frustrating because in a survival situation, when you crash land somewhere, I think the last thing you'll be thinking about is sleeping at a table. Eating at a table, sorry. I think that's going to be the least of your concerns. I understand about the awful barrack sleeping on the floor, yeah, I get that. Right, hang on. I'm just going to pause the game for a sec. I'll be right back, everyone, because my son has just woken up. So give me a second. Give me a second. I'll be back. Sorry about that. My son woke up. He keeps doing that at the moment. You put them off to bed quite nicely, and they decide to wake up. Right, where were we? Fast asleep. Squid's a bit unhappy, but he's got a minor break wrist, but so what? Our rice plant is almost ready, and a couple of them are ready to harvest. We can start cooking them off, which is good because they're once again getting very hungry. If anyone's plays Rimworld a lot, they'll notice that I've also got this special, it's another mod that gives me a bar that gives me a lot more information on the character selection. If you want them, let me know. I'll give you the mods. Oh, so yeah, like I said, I'll give you the mod list if you ever ask for it. But anyway, basically, because our colony's grown in size, because we've now got 2 of them, we can name it. So since it looks like you're here for a while, Squid thinks that you should give your faction a name. What should your faction be called? What should we call the faction? Oh, I don't know. That would be a good name. The Grey River Confederacy is what it is. So we just randomise see if there's any fun ones. The Trobo of the Swamp. No. The Migger of the Meadow. I don't like the sound of that. If you say that wrong, probably get banned from Twitch. The Candy Cattle of the Brook. The Uni of... Oh, they don't even pronounce that. What do we call it? Risky Peas. Peeps. And what should we call this particular settlement? No, the wall will be built around ourselves. The cold place. Because it's going to get cold. Right. Perfect. So we've named it. But yes, if you want the mod list, just let me know. Somehow I can produce it. Again, I haven't streamed from this PC before. I'll say PC, it's a Dell laptop. Actually, really quietly, if you need to be quiet. It's actually my work laptop. But IT don't really know, so it's fine. It's fine. We'll keep it secret. It's just between you and me. Right, we've got a major break risk. So his moods have got so low. What is... Whoa, there's loads of problems. He's ravenously hungry. So we do need to concentrate on feeding him. Now, our rice crop is ready to harvest. So if I make that Foster's priority now. Squid somehow had a meal on him. I don't know how. Anyway, Foster is now going to get right ahead and start cooking that harvested food. Which is fantastic. Hopefully Squid's going to then clean up this blood that's on his bed. There we go. Foster's now going to cook 5 meals from the harvested rice. And he'll also replant the rice field as well. Squid's helping. He's probably going to botch it. I don't know, he did alright there, I think. Sorry, I can hear one of my children running around upstairs. I've got 3. 2 girls and a boy. The girls are older, they're normally pretty good. But my son is only 3 years old, so bless him, he's a little bit scared at night and stuff like that, so I think he was just going to get his juice bottle, so it's fine. I don't hear any crying, so that's a good sign. Right, we're going to tell them to harvest the rest of this field now as well. Foster's going to crack on with that. What is Squid doing? Squid's just hauling the berries back. It's good. Right, so we've got... Where did we get the knife from? Is that what Squid... I didn't check what gear Squid had. Jesus Christ. He's got a cloth t-shirt and cloth pants. Right, so Foster is going to... So, mod time again. I've got another mod. Honestly, I haven't modded the game that badly. Not as much as some people do. But I've got another mod that means that I can equip a sidearm as well, which I think... So, the original game, you can only have 1 weapon in your hand. But I think that you should be able to equip things like knives as a sidearm as well, because I think that's, again, I was trying to say more like reality, but more like what you'd expect from the reality of this game. So yeah. So I bought this, I don't know if you live in the UK, but Aldi do this like, it's like a ginger wine. I quite like wine normally. I love my ginger beer. So I thought I would try ginger wine, and it tastes fucking awful, if I may say so myself. Do 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 do. I always think the music to this game is absolutely on point, if you know what I mean. Sorry, we need to speed things up a little bit. Look, there's shitloads of rice just lying around here, guys. Come on, get your shit together. Let's get this in. Foster, you go on bloody hard. Right, so we've got 5 meals. Or have we? Five meals in total now, which is good. Foster's going to do a little bit of cleaning up of the base. I think now is a good time to look at. We're in a good position. Okay, we've got a good meal source with these fields. We've got good clothing that's coming out in these fields. I mean, 34% grown. A couple of days' time, they'll be ready to start tailoring things. So I think our focus should be now hauling this wood into the base, and we also need to get some steel so we can build a research bench, because the next thing we're going to want to do is research. Now we've got a trade-off between whether we want to research complex furniture, which is going to make the comfortability go up, so like beds and things like that, which is going to increase the mood, or electricity, which is going to give us heating and cold storage in the heat. Now certainly this summer season we're not going to be able to get, I mean it's 21 degrees outside now, but we're not going to, I don't think we're going to get electricity and heating, and cold storage, sorry, by the time this summer season's over. So we can make use of outdoor cold storage when it starts to snow, but I do think it's going to be important to get furniture also, so we shall see. Jesus Christ, I might have to start wrapping this up in a sec actually, because it's getting quite late. I got to get up super early in the morning, take the kids to school. Oh, we've got a heat wave. An unusual heat wave has begun. Heat waves can kill quickly if people start getting heat stress. So, stay cool by building a cooler, which I can't do, or getting deep under a mountain. So I think now's a good time to build. I don't even know if I can do it. Yes, I can build a passive cooler, which is good. I thought I might have to research that. So if I put a passive cooler in this room, the passive cooler basically you just keep stoking it with wood, somehow evaporative water, and it evaporates water, I don't know, somehow. It keeps the room cool. It's like an anti-sauna. If that makes any sense. And man, oh god, how good would a sauna be right now? I swear to god, it's absolutely freezing in this house. I'll turn the heating off because I'm an absolute scringe with money. But I did go to the gym earlier. I spent a shit ton of time in the steam room, a shit ton of time in the sauna, like I normally do. Shit ton of time in the jacuzzi. Probably more time than I spend in the actual gym. Bad, right? But guys gotta do what guys gotta do. Right, so they're sleeping. Right, we've got a mark saying summer. Summer has begun, which is fantastic. Because there's a bit more time to get shit together. Because winter's going to hit hard. So the heat wave outdoors is raising temperatures during the night. Remember, this is during the night. It's now 30 degrees. Which is going to start getting uncomfortable. Right, we've got a cargo pod drop too. Remember, we got the herbal medicine last time. Chocolate, right? This is actually going to be very good. It's very far away. But it will give us a mood buff, and that's the most important thing. Right, so it's 31 degrees outdoors already. They're going to start getting sweaty. Another cargo pod drop. Randy Random is just lapping us with shit right now. A puff of fish. So as I was saying earlier, a fishing mod that I've got, for some reason it keeps giving me a shit ton of cargo pod drops with fish. And like, you know, like here there's 24, which I think is a bit, well, it's way over the top for you actually, because the stack sizes of fish is huge. So I tend to ignore those drops because I think it's cheating a little bit. Go on then, Squid, get the wood. You're going to have to do that long voyage to get the chocolate too. Who's got the minor rate risk now? Squid, what's wrong with you now? Awful pain. Slept in the heat, yeah, I get that. Look, Squid right now. No, Foster. What the fuck are you doing? You don't want to. No, you're not holding chocolates, mate. You're going to go down and sort out this. There you go. You built the passive cooler, which is quite important. So this passive cooler, hopefully, is going to drop this room temperature down. Yeah, it's doing nicely. So outside it's 36 degrees. And just remember, Foster's got no clothes to protect him from the sun either. So heat stroke is a thing. He's hot. See, it's way too hot here. If I could just have a breath of cool air. So it's 38 degrees outside, which is pretty unmanageable for these guys. I don't know. Squid's got some clothing that only protects him up to 29 degrees. You can see at the top. They're going to eat their chocolate because they deserve to. Hopefully, that gives a bit of a mood increase. No. Right, okay. Squid's now absolutely smashing the chocolate, which is exactly what I didn't want to happen. But there we go, he's doing it. Right, while we wrap it up now, I'm just going to do a recreational thing. So I'm going to build a little hoopstone ring here. So, I have no fucking idea what hoopstone is, but I presume it's something where you like throw horseshoes. In a place where they have absolutely nothing, they can somehow get horseshoes. I think it's horseshoes anyway, but you'll see. So they sort of just throw things at it. I don't know. There you are, you see what he's doing now? Is it a horseshoe? I don't know. I can't really see clearly there. It's a little bit of metal. Anyway, they're having fun. Right, so our next task, tomorrow, when I come back onto the stream, well, it might not be tomorrow, I'll have to let you know. But I think it might be breaking this compact steel down here. Unless there's any more that we can spot closer by. There's not. Look, we've got some marble up here. There's some compact steel up there too. This one's closer, I think. So we're going to get them to mine this steel down here, because we're going to want to build the research bench shortly. We've also got a field that's harvestable now, because we're running low on 3 meals and the chocolate obviously. So yeah, that's going to be it for this evening. Thank you very much for watching. It's very kind of you. Oh god, what are we doing? Yeah, it's very kind of you. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I will see you all soon. Hopefully. Thank you, goodbye.